Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. And this is the final Hunger Games movie, at least for now, until they decide to make a prequel or a sequel of some sort, because it makes so much freaking money. You know, I mean, everything has to have sequels and prequels and remakes, redos, reimaginings, everything. So most likely this won't be the last Hunger Games, but it is for now. This wraps up the Katniss story. Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, again for the 4th time. And I was looking forward to this. I didn't love part 1, but I thought it was still pretty good. Loved the hell out of the second movie. That was a great film. And the first one, while still, you know, when I first saw it, I loved it. The second time, and then I saw some problems. I still really enjoyed that film. So for the most part, I actually really enjoyed this series. It's definitely one of the best YA novel adaptations we have right now, considering we have stuff like Maze Runner, what was the other one? Insurgent, Divergent, whatever it's called, and all the other ones that failed in the past few years, like Beautiful Creatures and Mortal Instruments and that crappy-ass The Host movie, you know, so many, and The Fifth Wave is coming out. There's so many YA novel adaptations that it's just really cool that this one actually, it's pretty damn good, even though it's very similar in tone. So, let us talk about The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Alright, so the story for Mockingjay Part 2, of course, concludes the story of Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire, the Mockingjay, the face of the rebellion, Jennifer Lawrence. Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence, almost Oscar winner twice, but she didn't win that for American Hustle. Sorry, American Hustle didn't get shit that year. But anyway, forget about American Hustle. This is Mockingjay Part 2, which is of course the conclusion. A movie, of course, you would expect, because it has 3 other movies to wrap up, and wrap itself up, of course, because, you know, there's a bunch of stuff in this movie that they have to wrap up as well. You would expect it to tie up loose ends, have a nice, satisfying conclusion, but also entertaining the audience, maybe have more character development, maybe even, like, add some new things. Maybe a couple new characters, maybe a couple new sets, or, you know, places. There's a whole world out there in the Hunger Games. Maybe show some new stuff here and there, and for the most part they do this pretty well. Even though I will say this, I really do enjoy the story of the Hunger Games, the entire series, but I enjoyed it more when it was all about the Hunger Games. Now at this point, like Part 1 and Part 2 of this movie, I guess you could say, or this book, it's all been about like the rebellion, the rebels versus the Empire, pretty much. It's a very generic, but not in a bad way. Not generic in a bad way, but it's a very generic story where it's, you know, the good guys versus bad guys. But what I enjoy about this, and even though it's a very generic story, what I enjoy about it is the way they go about the, I guess you could say, the marketing behind a war, because in a war you have to like have propaganda and all that stuff, and they do a great job of showing that. They did a great job of that in Part 1. That was probably my favorite part about Part 1. And they do a good job of that in here, where Katniss actually just wants to go out and kill President Snow, the bad guy, the emperor of the Empire, pretty much. And she wants to go out there and kill him, because killing him will most likely end the war. Everybody will stand down at that point, she assumes. And of course she has some, you know, personal reasons why she wants to kill Snow. But she wants to go there, and of course she says, you know what, I'm going to do it. I need a team of people that want to go and kill Snow as well. So let's go and kill Snow. And she gets a team of people that she knows, like Peeta, who in the last movie was brainwashed by President Snow. And in this movie, he's not really trustworthy because he almost killed Katniss in the last movie. So he's not really that trustworthy, but they're taking him with them. They're taking him with them anyway because, well, there's a reason. I ain't gonna spoil that part. But, oh, so sorry I spoiled Part 1 for you, but, you know. It's not really that much of a spoiler, really. If you see the trailers for this film, it already kind of tells you what his character is all about in this movie. But, alright, so you have Peeta, you have Gale, who is another love interest. Peeta is one of the love interests, and Gale's the other love interest for Katniss. And, he's not really that likable character. Screw Gale. You have Finnick. Finnick Odair, who is the awesome guy in Catching Fire. He was the guy with the spear. He was really cool in that movie, and I was glad to see him in this one, because in the last one he was in it for like, what, 12 seconds? Here you get to see more of him, and he's a likable character, likable enough. And some new characters. They go into the city, the capital, and along the way there's traps, there's like booby traps and monsters that President Snow has unleashed, and they have to go and navigate through that stuff, and of course kill Snow. So that's the story of Mockingjay Part 2. I really enjoy it because of the marketing aspect, but I also really really enjoyed the twists in it. And I'm not saying there's any real big, like, what? Shocker twists, but there's twists that do it in a very, very casual way. Like, not saying it's a twist. I shouldn't say twist because I know you're going to expect, like, oh, he's been dead the entire time? I didn't know that. Like, you're going to expect that. It's not really twist. It's more like just, like, differences differences. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. Fuck it, it's twists. I don't care. There's twists in the movie that are very, very expected but well done to the point where it actually changes up the kind of generic story because it's, it's generic good guys versus bad guys, but I like how they hint at some good guys might not be actual good guys, some bad guys might actually be okay people maybe, and there's a lot of really grim moments in this. This movie is not, you're not going to enjoy this movie straight up. You're not going to enjoy it in a sense that you would with something like Avengers. Avengers is a completely different style of movie here. So if you're expecting like to have a whimsical and fun time and ooh, look at all the great action. Oh, Captain America beat some guy off. He hit someone with his shield. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get any fun moments in this. You're going to get, characters that you like get killed, or characters that you might not know get killed in gruesome ways. Of course, it's PG-13, so it's not really violent. It's actually, I don't even think you see an ounce of blood. But you get moments where you're just like, whoa, okay, slow it down. Oh, you killed another character. Jesus. Like, in a span of 15 minutes, they kill off, like, 2 main characters. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, calm down. Calm down, okay? And by the way, this is a very grim series. So me saying characters get killed off, sorry. Like, I'm not spoiling who gets killed off. And also, at this point, you should expect characters to get killed off because Hunger Games likes doing that. Every series nowadays likes doing that. Everybody saw Game of Thrones and they're like, yo, man, they keep killing. They saw Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. They're like, oh, man, everybody loves when characters get killed off. Fuck it, kill them. And, and I know Hunger Games was a book before I think Game of Thrones and Walking Dead became TV shows. But yeah, point is that there's a lot of death in this film, and you should expect that. So, and I didn't spoil it, so I'm sorry if that was a spoiler, but I'm gonna leave it in the review because I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I don't care. But anyway. So, Hunger Games, the story itself, I really enjoy. I like the little twists and turns. I like the marketing aspect in this film. And, you know what? I love the characters in this film for the most part. I really love the Katniss character. Jennifer Lawrence is fantastic. I don't think she's going to get nominated for anything in this movie, but she is great here. She really shows like how much crap she's been going through in the, I don't know why now I'm not cursing. I've been cursing the entire review, but you see on her face like the struggle that this has been for the last few movies. And man, she got destroyed in the last couple movies. Like last movie she got almost choked out completely, and she has like bruises around her neck. She gets shot in one of the movies in the past, and she gets beat up. She gets like whipped. Like she gets destroyed in these movies. So she's not the untouchable hero. She is flawed. She gets beat up a lot, but she is still the hero. She's a character you like because of, I guess, her chosen one aspects, because she's a chosen one, but she's not a untouchable hero, I guess you could say. I really like that about Katniss, and Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence does a great job. I really like Josh Hutcherson in this film. I actually didn't care for him in the last couple. Not saying he was bad, I just didn't think he was that great, but here he actually has some good moments, and he's really good in it. Liam Hemsworth, I don't like him as Gale. I don't like Gale as a character, so you can already see where I'm getting. I don't like him. But, Woody Harrelson, Elizabeth Banks, Stanley Tucci for 12 seconds in this film. Donald Sutherland, who is amazing as President Snow. He's so good in this. He's a great villain. Julianne Moore, you got Philip Seymour Hoffman in his last starring role, sadly. Goodbye, Philip. And all of them are great. They're all great. They have very small roles for the most part, but they're all great, and they do a great job. And they all have, I guess you could say, nice little conclusions to all the characters. I mean, all of them. So their characters have conclusions too. So for the most part, so there you go. That's what I have to say about Hunger Games. For the most part, it's a very grim movie. Expect a lot of people to die. There's some good action in there too. There's some well shot action for the most part. It's not like Hunger Games 1 where it's all shaky and stuff. There's a whole action scene that takes place in a sewer system that's very dark, and I was actually surprised that it was actually pretty tolerable. You could actually tell what was going on for the most part. So yeah, the action, when it gets to it, there's not tons of action. At least I didn't think so. A lot of people say there's a lot of action in this one, but maybe compared to the last movie, there's a lot of action in this movie, because that one had barely any. Yeah, I guess considering that one, I guess this one does have tons of action. But when it gets to it, it's very well shot, and it's pretty, enjoyable in the action movie sense, where things are getting blown up and stuff, I guess. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all I can say about Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Had a pretty satisfying conclusion for the most part. The story wasn't too, I guess what, too monotonous of other ones, or too similar to other stories out there. They have a lot of differences, and it was a nice little conclusion. There's not much to the ending, but it's a decent conclusion for the characters. So overall, Mockingjay Part 2, I'm going to give it a 33 out of 40. It's not amazing, but it's a really good conclusion, and I recommend it. So there you go. Go check it out. It's a good movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and until next time, goodbye.